Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tom from the Strength Agenda. This past weekend I was at my USAW level 2 course, I think is what they call it. I don't know, they have a new name for it. And we were talking about counting attempts and the new rule that USAW passed, and I believe the IWF passed as well, on tiebreakers came up. And there was a lot of discussion about it. There was a lot of coaches that didn't really know how the rule worked and how it went in terms of A sessions, B sessions, and lifters, and who hit this and that. So I figured I'd take a second here and kind of explain the rule to you. What is the rule? Essentially speaking, it's saying that the tiebreaker in a meet is going to go back to the person who made the total first. No longer, if you remember, it used to go who was lighter on body weight. So if a lifter was a little bit lighter in that weight class, that served a big advantage for them going through the competition. Now, that is not a thing anymore. So if you're an athlete in a weight restricted class, unless obviously you're the 105 pluses or something like that, but if you're in a weight class that is restricted, you want to be as heavy as possible within the parameters of your weight class, because being a light 94, 105, a light 69, anything along those lines, it doesn't matter anymore. That has no bearing on your tiebreaker. Now, I don't know what it goes to after all this and all the little formulas and all that stuff, but right as it stands now, being lighter in your weight class is no longer an advantage. What is this going to do? It's going to force an athlete to make lifts. You need to make lifts to get a higher total. Your highest snatch plus your highest clean and jerk equals your total. So the more lifts you get, the higher that total is going to be. What also it's going to do is it's going to force you to one up your foe, your villain, your whoever you're competing against. You have to beat them by 1 kilo. You don't want to lift the same weight as them if it's going to tie you, because you're not going to win on body weight. It's going to be whoever made the lift first. This goes for both the snatch and the clean and jerk, as well as the total. So, going off this example here, if athlete B snatches 66 on their first attempt and they went first, and then on their third attempt, athlete A snatched 66, athlete B is going to get the snatch gold medal because they snatched that first, as opposed to athlete A who snatched it on their third attempt. So you have to go out and make attempts, and it's going to force you to beat your opponent. So it's irrelevant for this example, but I was just using that the way I have it all written out here. So don't look at it and go, oh, Tom, you're an idiot. Like, there's 70 on there. Yes, I know. But I'm just saying, if two athletes snatch the same weight, they're going to look at who hit it first. That's how they're going to determine medals in the snatch and the clean and jerk, as well as the total. And then an interesting question, I guess, came up at Masters Nationals this year about A and B sessions. If a lifter that is in the B session hits the total first and they tie, let's say, third place in the A session, does B session get, the medal because they technically totaled it first? What we found out was the answer is no. The B sessions and A sessions are completely separate. And you can't really put like a time parameter on that, so to speak. So if an A session lifter ties a B session lifter, it's going to go to the A session lifter, I assume. That was pretty much the general consensus at the meeting. So if anybody, I'm going to look up that result a little bit more and get more information on you, but just so you're aware. Bottom line, make lifts. You want to beat the people you are competing against. You don't want to tie them anymore because it's not advantageous, especially if you're banking on body weight. I actually had this situation happen between my lifter and another lifter from another club. My lifter was done lifting. They had hit their total. They had finished. They clean and jerked. And then there was still another lifter left to go. Now, my lifter out snatched them, but they were out clean and jerking my lifter. They ended up tying, but the third place medal went to my lifter, because she hit the total first based on the new rule, and the other lifter and their coach were unaware of the rule. They were banking on the fact that she was lighter. So don't get caught in this trap at your local meets or your first national meet. Make lifts. You have to beat your opponent. Tying no longer goes to the lighter body weight. So kind of you drew up a little bit of a visual aid for you guys as an example. So we have two different athletes here, A and B. Athlete A snatched 62, they missed 66 on their second attempt, and they snatched 66. Clean and jerk, they went 90, 94, missed 96 on their last attempt. Athlete B is a much better snatcher. So they went out, they snatched 66 or 61, 66, 70, and they only made one attempt, but that was at 90. Now, while the totals are the same, Athlete B ended up making that total first. So athlete B would get the win over athlete A. Even though it was on their third attempt, they still had to make that 90 kilos, whereas this athlete made it and then they went on. They needed that 96 to beat athlete B and they didn't make it. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It's a new rule. They just passed it this year for 2017. Hopefully you guys don't have to deal with this and you just go out and you make lifts and you win outright. But just in case you have to game plan, you have to strategize at the meet. It no longer goes on body weight. It goes to who made the lift first. All right. If you guys have any more questions, comments, concerns, please comment below, message us on social media. And if you have any other insight into this rule that you think may be helpful, we greatly appreciate it. All right. Good luck at your next competition.